Welcome to our VirtuaLaw Legal Analysis series. In today's episode, we will discuss the meaning and importance of civil law. Let's dive right into it. Civil law is a legal system originating in mainland Europe and adopted in much of the world. The civil law system is intellectualized within the framework of Roman law, and with core principles codified into a referable system, which serves as the primary source of law. The civil law system is often contrasted with the common law system, which originated in medieval England. Whereas the civil law takes the form of legal codes, the law in common law systems historically came from uncodified case law that arose as a result of judicial decisions. Recognizing prior court decisions as legally binding precedent. Civil law deals with a wide range of topics, including persons and family law. This area of law deals with the legal status of individuals, including their rights and obligations, as well as the law of marriage, divorce, and child custody. Property law. This area of law deals with the ownership, possession, and transfer of property. Contract law. This area of law deals with the formation, performance, and enforcement of contracts. Tort law. This area of law deals with civil wrongs that cause harm to another person, such as negligence and intentional torts. Civil law is a complex and sophisticated legal system that has been developed over centuries. It is used in many countries around the world, including France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the Philippines. Here are some of the key features of civil law. Code law. Civil law is based on a system of codes, which are comprehensive collections of laws that are organized by subject matter. This makes it easier for lawyers and judges to find and understand the law. Precedent. Precedent is not as important in civil law as it is in common law. This means that judges are not bound by the decisions of previous cases, but they may consider them as persuasive authority. Legal scholars. Legal scholars play an important role in the development of civil law. They write treatises and articles that explain and interpret the law, and their work is often cited by judges. Civil law is a well-structured and predictable legal system that provides a framework for resolving disputes and protecting the rights of individuals. It is a complex system, but it is also a flexible system that can adapt to changing social and economic conditions. In the Philippine legal setting, civil law refers to a legal system that governs private relationships between individuals and entities, such as contracts, property rights, family matters, and torts. It is derived from the Spanish Civil Code, which was introduced during the Spanish colonial period and continues to be the primary source of civil law in the country. The civil law system in the Philippines is codified, meaning that the laws are contained in statutes and codes rather than being primarily based on judicial decisions. The main legislation governing civil law matters is the Philippine Civil Code, which was enacted in 1950 and has undergone subsequent amendments. Civil law covers various aspects of private life, including obligations and contracts, property rights, succession and inheritance, family law, and civil liability. Here's a brief overview of these areas. 1. Obligations and contracts. This area of civil law deals with the rights and obligations of parties involved in contracts, such as buying and selling, lease agreements, loan and employment contracts. 2. Property rights. Civil law governs the ownership, possession, and transfer of real and personal property. It covers issues related to land titles, real estate transactions, intellectual property rights, and other proprietary matters. 3. Succession and inheritance. Civil law provides rules for the distribution of property and assets after a person's death. It addresses issues related to wills, intestate succession, when there is no will, and the rights and obligations of heirs and legatees. 4. Family law. This area of civil law focuses on familial relationships, including marriage, divorce, legal separation, annulment, child custody, adoption, and support obligations. The Family Code of the Philippines, which was enacted in 1987, governs these matters. 5. Civil liability. Civil law sets out the principles of civil liability, which determine the consequences and compensation for harm caused by one person to another. It covers torts, for example, negligence, defamation, damages, and the principles of civil responsibility. In the Philippine legal system, civil law cases are primarily heard in the regional trial courts, which have jurisdiction over civil disputes involving substantial amounts of money or complex legal issues. However, there are also specialized courts and quasi-judicial bodies that handle specific civil law matters, such as family courts, land registration courts, and intellectual property offices. It's important to note that the civil law system in the Philippines exists alongside the common law system, particularly in relation to criminal law and procedural matters. While civil law governs private relationships, the common law tradition influences the criminal justice system and certain aspects of legal practice and interpretation. That's all for this episode. Stay tuned for more legal insights in our future episode. Remember, understanding landmark case helps us comprehend the intricacies of our legal system. See you next time. Like and subscribe.